Welcome to Around Town, featuring what's going on here in the capital city, and it's a pleasure to welcome you back as we count the days down to 'tis the season to end the politics time. And today I'm featuring one of the last guests I'll be doing with the politics this year, and I'm glad he's coming on because a lot of people haven't met him. I haven't. And I'm glad to have meet him now, and it's Michael Feeley. Michael is a candidate for a state representative from Ward 9, and he is on the Republican side. And actually, there's no incumbent this year in Ward 9. The lady who was the incumbent lived at Havenwood, and she's not running for re-election. So we've got two challenges in there this year, two new ones. So that's good, different. And as I told Michael before, Ward 9 has changed so much because originally when I first started being a supervisor of the checklist in '79, his ward was part of my ward because Ward 8 went all the way over to Portsmouth Street up to 106 and down Manchester Street and back up Loudon Road. So. And then when they did the redistricting changes, they created Ward 9, carved it out, Ward 10 or whatever they did then, and made the little ward. And then they've added some streets to it and took out some streets, added some more, and now you got what you got. But it's funny because, like I said, that was all considered the Heights, South Curtisville Road, East Sugar Bowl, West Sugar Bowl. Now, because of 393 in there, it seems like it's divided it up, and now it's like part of East Concord, but it's not really East Concord over there. But anyway, and Portsmouth Street, now which end are you on now? Are you one down toward the power lines, or are you down toward East Concord itself?
Towards East Concord, Broken Ground.
Okay, so you're up this end now.
Yeah, I'm about a 5-minute drive from Broken Ground.
Oh, okay.
So it's not too far.
No. And as I said to you before, that is just so built up now. I mean, it was just nothing years ago. Broken Ground Drive didn't exist. Venn Circle didn't exist, and it was just all woods over there. Mm-hmm. And now, it's really good. There was a big old farm as you were going down Portsmouth Street toward Old Loudon Road, as you went down a hill like where the power lines are. There was a big farm there on both sides of the road, and the family had either died or what, but the owners, but there were still relatives that lived on the Heights, and they still do. Some of them still live there, but somebody decided they wanted to torch it, and they burnt it, and it burned down, and so now you never know. There was a barn and a house there. It was a beautiful location, beautiful, but so anyway, you have decided you wanted to try for the State House. And what made you decide to get into politics, Michael?
I spent over 20 years in the military.
Really?
Served in the New Hampshire National Guard, Mass National Guard, and I did at least 10 years of active duty time. And so when I retired from the military, I decided that I wanted to continue my public service in another capacity.
Good.
People are usually complaining how things don't change. And for me, it's either get involved in a process or be an active participant through voting.
That's what I've told many people. If you don't like what it is, go buy your paperwork and run.
So that's what I decided to do. I had some friends of mine who I met when I worked on the Rand Paul campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And so when it came up, they kind of encouraged me to do so, and I decided why not.
Sure. So... And of course, you're surprised if you get elected, how much money you're gonna make. I mean, boy, you ready to? I'm telling you, it's a lot of money. $100 a year.
I know.
Minus taxes.
Yeah.
They take out taxes. You'd be lucky if you get a check for $75. So you can do a lot of that, but I'm like you. I've done it because I enjoy doing it just for the people. I mean, I was city councilor for 3 terms, and then the wife said she had enough of that. So then they had an opening because they redistricted again, and combined wards 8, 9, and 10 with Ward 4 over across town. So there was 5 reps there were. And at that time, one of them was not going to run again on the Democrat side, so they asked me if I would let me consider it. I said, yeah, consider it, sure, so why not? And so I did. Of course, I won that year, came in first to second there, and it surprised them a little bit. But so it's a lot to it, but I've enjoyed it. And what are some of the goals you're hoping to work on, or programs or committees if you get elected? Have you seen those committees?
I haven't seen the list of committees just yet. However, I am hoping, given my military background, to get on the Veterans Committee and have some input on that.
Yeah, the second one today I've talked to about that. They want to get on that.
The top 2 issues on my mind is the drug epidemic that's been going on.
Oh yeah.
Addressing that, not just from a law enforcement standpoint, but across the board.
Yeah.
Using all the tools that are available.
Mm.
And the other issue is the economy.
Yep.
Creating the jobs. And hopefully by doing that, we'll be able to get some of the younger people who graduate from college to stay in New Hampshire and not feel as if they have to leave New Hampshire and go someplace else.
Or even going to college out of state. I
Yes.
mean, we're losing a lot of them because the tuition is so expensive. It's sad when your in-state university is more expensive than for in-state students than for out-of-state students.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, granted, the northern sector of the state up north there with Coos County, for them, there's not much to offer for those kids. So they leave.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad because we really need them up there.
Yeah.
But the manufacturing jobs are gone, and I don't know what the heck, how to get them back here, but whether it's the taxes on businesses that needs to be lowered or what, I don't know. But, you know, we always say no sales or income tax, but boy, we've got plenty of other taxes there.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't help either. But who knows? You know, there's no answer.
Well, the tax burden seems to be more on the businesses than the homeowners.
Mm.
And,
Oh, yes. Property
though
taxes.
I would still, like any other New Hampshire resident, stick with the no income and no sales tax.
Yeah.
We do need to look at broadening the tax base a little bit more so the homeowners and businesses don't feel as if they're always getting whacked.
Oh,
for it.
yes. I mean, property taxes, especially here in this area, they're crazy. Although I've heard people in Salisbury or Pittsfield say how even their taxes are nuts.
Yeah.
Especially like a town like Salisbury, who does not have a full-time fire department, who has no police department. They rely on state police or the sheriff to do their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
Yeah.
There's no industry there, basically. So, I mean, it's really tough. Franklin, another one, a city there that's suffering bad up there. You know, it's not good.
Yeah.
I know that, of course, for several years, they talked about bringing the casino in, making gambling. And, of course, it almost went through a few years ago, and then it didn't come up last year. I don't remember it coming up. But the argument is how addictive it is. Well, yes and no. But my complaint is you don't want a casino in here, but yet, or gambling legal, but yet you've got scratch tickets of every denomination from $1, $2, $3, $5, $10, $20, $25.
Yep.
You can even get they tried at one time a $30 ticket. I was out in Michigan recently because I'm a die-hard Michigan Wolverine fan, as you can tell. Amazing blue. But they have scratch tickets, even a $50 one out there. And I thought, oh my goodness. You know, so I mean, that's gambling. And then, of course, you add Powerball, Megabucks, Cash Lotto, Hot Lotto, whatever, Mega Millions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes on. And the people... I've watched them in the store. It's almost hilarious. They want tickets that end in an even number. Or they want tickets that, if it has an odd number, they don't want it. and you go to the next one, and it's like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. There's one there, and then then of course the commuter rail service, bringing commuter rail line back up here. I'm personally for it. I feel we need it. I mean, with the traffic on the roads and stuff. I mean, yes, the tracks have to be upgraded, obviously, from Concord to Boston. I mean, and even freight service would be nice, but you've got the buses who are against it. The truckers, they don't want the trains back in here, but it's funny, other states and other countries love commuter rail. Why are we so against it?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then you got Maine, who has the Downeasterner comes down, they're full. The Amtrak goes up through Claremont to Montreal, they're full. And I just noticed in the paper that the St. Lawrence and Atlantic Railway got a $4 million pledge or something, a grant or something to upgrade the tracks in New Hampshire, so they can now go from from Canada to Portland, Maine. And hopefully they're hoping to add at some point maybe commuter rail service. So that would be good for the North Country.
Yeah, it would. Definitely would.
So what are your thoughts about whatever? Now, see, you've talked about the veterans, you've got criminal law, you've got election law committees, you've got the judiciary, commerce, agriculture, and legislative, fish and game. I'm on transportation. I'm hoping to stay on there. There's some other ones too. But it's all very interesting. And then, of course, you get elected, you get your plates in January, 1st of January when they come in session. And you'll be asked for a seating assignment. They'll ask you where you would like to sit. Whether or not you get that choice, who knows. And then, of course, your committee assignment you'll get, because you'll get a postcard that will ask you 3 choices. And if you want to be a chair, vice chair, or clerk. And, but a lot of those are already politically appointed, so. But it is, and then, of course, you have committee meetings a lot in January and February, March, and crossover day when you get the Senate bills back to you. So it's very interesting. But so you've got some signs out?
Yes,
yeah.
Some. Yep.
Some, yeah. And you're going to be at the polls?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Have you done anything? I hope no. Election day, one of the biggest things is people don't like things like this to hand out to take them. Because the supervisor checklist, when I was they always, as soon as they get inside the door, the basket I went. They didn't want them. They didn't know who they're voting for. So I always found out that it was nice just to stand there and, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, thank you for coming out, or gee, it's a beautiful day, nice to see you, and all that type of thing. But don't jump out in front of them. There's been some who've done that, and they despise it. They don't want to be harassed, but they do like an occasional hello, how are you, nice to see you, and all that. Pleasant conversation, light conversation.
Yeah, I did stand out at a long stake, a couple of my signs up on there, and I just kind of stood out there on the sidewalk as people were walking by.
That's over at Ward, that's Havenwood, right?
Yeah, and I would just kind of greet them and just go, with that. Occasionally, some of them would ask me some of my positions.
Oh yeah.
What, because you have the floterial districts too.
Oh yeah.
So if they're not aware of the fact that the floterial district actually covers at least 3 wards, to compensate for the population discrepancy between the wards, and then you have the actual representative for that particular ward as well. So some wards can end up with anywhere between 2 to 5 representatives, depending upon the size of the district itself, or however it's worked out.
I explained that, I put a lot into the editor about that, because a lot of people think that because my name is on there and another person's name is on a different district, they think we're running it. And I said, we're not running against each other. I'm running in Ward 8 for my reelection, but there is another terial district that covers 8, 9, and 10. You know, and hope, but see, a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
And that hurts because sometimes they think, well, wait a minute, no. They're in the terial. I'm in Ward 8.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I had gone to the meeting about Loudon Road.
Yes, I heard you did.
Yeah, about a month back, and I actually met my Republican counterpart for the terial district. And you know, I didn't know who was in the terial district.
Oh, okay.
I was mostly focusing on just my district alone.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm aware of him now. I see his signs out there.
And you must be Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Andrew.
Yeah.
So.
It is. Loudon Road is tough. I didn't get to the meetings because I had other meetings going on, but as I've said many, many times, I've lived here since I was born in 1952 with my folks. Again, my grandparents built the first house in 1916 over there in East Sugarball Road, so my roots are here and I've never left here. And you can't go back to 50 years to having 2 lanes up that road. It's stupid. You know, I don't care what anybody says, it's stupid. We all know it's a lot of traffic on that road. I mean, it kind of makes me chuckle a little bit because I can remember back in the early 70s when the Heights Alliance, Business Alliance, were trying to sue the state for trying to build that 393 because it was going to kill all the businesses on Loudon Road at that time. Because Loudon Road at that time was not as busy as it is now. If you can remember, how long have you lived in Concord, Michael?
Probably about a year and a half.
If you could go back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, Loudon Road basically was mostly family houses and some mom and pop stores. Like you head down where Thomas Street is. That used to come onto Loudon Road, and you had the New Hampshire Mercury Garage on one corner of Thomas Street. Then you had Heights Market, the original Heights Market down on that strip. Then they sold out and Vino's bought it. The original Vino's bought that store. Then you'd go up Loudon Road. Dunkin' Donuts was never there.
Yeah.
Wendy's was never there. That was a family house there. There was a Tulsa gas station in where Mobile is. And then you had some more family houses. Same on the other side. It was all family houses. You had where Kentucky Fried Chicken is. That was the Toll family homestead. And they owned a grocery store right next to it because I worked there as a kid, as a young man, for a couple of years till it went out of business. Across the road was Frank's Market, another family business. And then it became Frank and Bob's, his father and son. Then there was more houses where Burger King and CVS were. That was a family store, Longley's family store, and their homestead was there. Across the street where the other one there, not True Value, Walgreens. That was the Frank Fosha homestead there. And then across the road where Pizza Hut was Clark's store. 2 sisters, mother and daughter owned that. They had a small little store with the gas pumps. And across the street there was 2 houses there. So it's changed, the whole thing. We didn't have all this stuff up there. The first business that came in other than the mom and pop was Dairy Queen, where Arnie sits.
Okay.
That was Dairy Queen. And then they finally sold out and renamed it. But none of this stuff. The mall was all woods up there. There was nothing there. But there was a lumber company called Twin State Lumber Company. And that was all woods because every summertime there'd always be a major brush fire there. And you could always count on it. For some reason, there'd be a brush fire. But then there was a major fire that destroyed Twin State Lumber Company, burned the big office down, but it kept the barn behind it. and they reconverted that into their offices. But then all of a sudden, the Damani family, no, I won't say sold the land, but they still own the land as far as I know, but leased it out till the mall got built. And then, of course, that just added up through there again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you could just go back and see how that road was with 2 lanes. But now, to go back to those days, you can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I live off Manchester Street, and I'm telling you, that's a mess. There are many times you can't get across that street to go to Hades because there's so much traffic. You know, you just can't. You can't make a left-hand turn to go out of our park, or you can't if you're on the other side. You can't make to make a left on that one left-hand turn. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I was glad when they decided to leave Loudon Road alone for now. I mean, yes, something's got to be done, but going to 2 lanes is not the answer, or even 3 lanes. But the population, the apartment houses, just continues to grow.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing. But a lot of the Heights residents, of course, you do realize that this whole area used to be known as Burglar's Island. That was the original title for this.
Mm-hmm.
It was Burglar's Island. Because we couldn't get across the Merrimack to go over to downtown Concord.
Oh.
That was way back. And then they called it the Dark Plains because there was no electricity up there. Then it was Concord Plains from probably the 1915, 1914 up to 1960 something. And then it became the Concord Heights. But it's an area that's really grown.
Yeah.
And you've got a district that's become, of course, Havenwood is the big tenant there. Of course, Royal Gardens now is in your district.
Yep.
Concord Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of them don't vote on election day, but sometimes they get pulled out. They don't know what they're voting for.
Yeah.
But people have called them. And then you've got, now you say you've got Cranmore Ridge over there.
Yep.
Which was Ward 10 for a while. So you've got a lot of work. Have you been going house to house?
I have been going house to house
Yeah.
where possible. As I had mentioned before, because of all the apartment complexes and everything there, it's very difficult to try to get in. Because,
it is.
You know, granted, you have the no soliciting, but if it's listed as private property, you can't really go in there.
No.
It makes it very difficult for me to try to speak to the voters, let them know that they have a choice. You know, that there is somebody who is younger and has some fresh ideas that they could bring to the State House compared to what they've probably been used to in the past.
Biggest thing I do, Michael, myself, is I've never, ever promised to do anything. My pledge is that I will work as hard as I can do for my voters and listen to both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I'm considered a moderate, and see what happens. And but for someone to stand up there and say, "I'll lower your taxes" or "I'll raise you're one of 400 reps.
Exactly.
Because that's the thing. But you've got these politicians who stand in, "Oh, I can do this, I can do it." You can't do nothing. You've got to have many other people with you. You can only speak up and try to get them to come with you. But, you know, to stand there and promise this and that, that's suicide as far as I'm concerned. I just promise to be there and represent you the best of my ability. That's how I do it, but I don't know.
I mean, the thing with trying to solve an issue is you get both sides together.
Yeah.
You look at what their key issues are. You try to address them the best as possible. And if you come to an agreement, both sides are going to be unhappy to some degree.
Yeah.
But you work with what you can agree with first, and then come back later on and then deal with the issues that you couldn't agree with.
Sure.
And that's really the only way that anything's ever going to get accomplished or done.
How's your family feel about you getting in politics?
My fiance, I had mentioned to her that this was a dream of mine to run for public office at some point in my life. And she had mentioned to me about running for school board.
Oh, yeah.
You know, why don't you start off small? And, well, here I am running for state rep, so. So, but
Wow.
she's been very supportive, and she has a communications background, so she's been helping me with his press releases and things of that nature.
Oh yes, that's good.
So I do have a Facebook page if anybody wants to look
Oh
me
really?
up.
Yeah.
During press time, trying to get the cards printed up, I was not able to get that added on, but when I do go door to door, I try to let the people know that if you have a Facebook account or know somebody who does, to look me up on Facebook. All my issues are listed there. Some of the other things that I've done.
Yep.
UNH, the school that I'm going to right now,
Yeah.
I'll be graduating in December.
Good for you. Now that Durham or Manchester?
Manchester, and they found out that I was running, and I did a piece with them as well.
Good.
So,
And letters to the editor always help.
yes.
Good.
Yep.
Well, it was hard to get a hold of you. I know that much. Because I looked up and looked for phone numbers and I couldn't get it. And finally I talked with Nick Reed and he gave me a number. And he said, "Oh, you can get him right here." So, and I've talked to Joe Alexander today and met him. I don't know the other one from Havenwood yet, even though he's a Democrat. I have not met him.
Yes.
But you know, I don't know what to think. I've heard so many people say that they don't want it. They're not even going to bother vote this year because they think it's just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sad. Because I mean, and you'll notice that in city elections, they don't come out.
Yeah.
And that's when they should come out.
Yeah.
But they don't in city elections at all. And of course, you know, they'll say, "Well, I know this one." But as I've said so many times, my grandmother would say, if you've got two devils running, or two devils, you go with the devil that you know versus the devil you don't know. Because the devil you know what they're up to. The devil you don't know can be, you don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's true, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the older folks used to tell us, and I used to hear those old sayings.
Yeah.
But now, where'd you come from before you come to Concord?
I grew up in Massachusetts. I was born and
Okay.
raised in Massachusetts. After I graduated high school, joined the military. Was stationed in Germany for a while.
Oh, wow.
I was actually in Germany when 9/11 happened,
Oh, dear. Yeah.
and then spent some time in Israel and Iraq during the Iraq War.
Mm.
Was stationed in Texas twice, Fort Hood and then Fort Bliss.
Wow.
So I've kind of been around the country.
You've been to see
been
some
around the
things.
world, so been
Yeah.
exposed to different cultures and stuff like that. So it's part of the reason why I'm running. I figured with my life experiences in general, I might be able to, bring something to the table and do, like you were saying, do the best you can to represent everybody within the
That's right.
district, and just say, look, when election time comes up, if you're running again, you just judge me on my merits.
That's right.
If you think I'm going to be a good candidate, I'm going to be the person for you to represent, then by all means, I hope you'll vote for me.
And get involved too, and always answer your constituents. That's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people will just blow them off, and that's the worst thing they could do.
Yeah.
And if there's public events, try to come to them.
Yeah. Definitely.
We've got some right now who don't go to anything. They don't come to anything. We've had on the Heights and nothing. And that's sad. But well, I really wish you well. We are coming to a close around town, and election day is November the 8th. Polls open at 7 a.m. Close at 7 p.m. Absentee voting is on right now, so if there's some reason you can't get to the polls, illness, work, or whatever, get yourself down to City Hall and apply for an absentee ballot.